Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another episode reaction to Bleach, 1000-Year Blood War. That's right, my name is Haarute. Hello. Hi, we're watching the finale for Season 1 now. And by the time you watch this, Season 2 should already be airing, and it has probably been airing for a couple of weeks now. Right now, at the time of recording, Season 2 of 1000-Year Blood War is going to start airing tomorrow for me. So what I'm trying to do is finally catch up to all these episodes that I haven't seen yet, and this is the final one. And for the record, yes, it is one day after I recorded previous episode. That was yesterday morning, and now I'm sitting here on the evening in order to try to record this finale. Just because I have to. Like, Bleach is just coming out faster than I can edit these episodes, so I'm gonna see what I can do, and then I'm gonna try to start putting this out. But okay, we finally got to learn what was the history for Masaki and Isshin, and to a minor degree Ryuken as well. So that explains why Isshin and Ryuken knew each other, and they had some kind of, you know, connection before, when we saw them like 12 years ago. Now we also know Masaki as a person, and we sort of know what she died, which I think was because Yahabaha just took her powers. There's like a personal motivation and connection to take down Yahabaha now for Ichigo, which is fun. Ichigo has departed now for I think heaven again, to see if maybe he can get his sword fixed. I think just the best thing about previous episode, and the previous two episodes really, was just learning about Isshin and Masaki. I really love that. So yeah, I'm happy with those episodes. Now we're gonna be watching the finales, so let's see how the season ends. And season 2 is gonna start airing tomorrow for me, and for you guys it's gonna be in a couple weeks. But you can watch those episodes already over at the Patreon. Check out the Patreon, link in the description below, pop up on the screen. Damn, that is a segue. You can watch the next 2 episode reactions. That should be the case, at least. So yeah, check that out, and I'll try to put out 1000-Year Blood War episodes as they come out for season 2. Anyway, I think that is pretty much it. Let us begin before it gets too late. Bleach, 1000-Year Blood War, season 1, episode 13. Let's go. That's a good question. Ooh. Oh, sure, okay, she's just gonna take you back. They just threw him back there and there. Okay. So now we can do the exercise. I like this. It's cool. Okay. Okay, this is from the intro. Yeah, and it has the whole mask. That was instantaneous. Yeah, here it is. Oh yeah, this is gonna be the last time I hear the song. I think, yeah, it's the present, I think. What? I need to get better. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so every captain who has had their Bankai stolen is just training in some level. Ooh. Yeah. Mashiro! Fuck yeah, I love Mashiro! Henshin! She's just a Sentai character. She's just a Kamen Rider. Mashiro Cake! Well, she's a bunch of some. I love that she's just a Kamen Rider. Literally. Super Lieutenant. I wasn't even sure she was alive. I'm so glad that she's here still. That's cool, I like that. Zero was talking over that conversation because he was very serious, but I was just geeking out over Mashiro. I like Mashiro. Oh, he's alive! I was also sure he died, but... Give birth to a new Ashiso. Sure. This fucking guy. He's like a family. This guy's like the shittiest lieutenant in all of Bleach. And we're like humanizing a little bit. Okay, so she should just brute forcing training. I mean, girl, do you even need your banka? Your banka is a nuke. She doesn't even want to use her nuke. She has an ability that kills you in 2 touches. What the fuck am I looking at? That's like a Dark Souls boss. Or clone secret technique. What does that mean? Okay, I see. That's what he means. We're happy living in our caves or whatever. Just a big old dog. Okay, they're gonna fight, I guess. Okay. Sure. Okay. Hey, Sangetsu. Can we talk to Sangetsu or is he fucking dead? I do like this guy. Sure. The Nemaya bodyguards are here to beat his ass. I like this one. This one's my favorite. What the fuck? Never mind what I said. This one is my favorite. Tsukimika Chuki. I didn't even see her. I love her. Okay, let's work. I like that. Goichi? That's my favorite fighting game player. That's what I was thinking. Okay. Has it always been that? Oh! Okay. Then what the fuck is Sangetsu? There's a man inside my brain, and I don't know who he is. Can we talk? What's up? He looks like Yahabaha. He does. Okay. Alright. So, Sangetsu, quote unquote, is just a representation of his Quincy powers that looks like Yahabaha. My man's having a crisis. Can we talk to him? Can we talk? Sangetsu also had like a Bishi form. What's up with that one? Is it the same voice actor too? I think it is. Can I shoot arrows then? I mean, he's a part of you. I don't think he's an entity.
お前は今まで見てきたはずだ。私がお前に残白刀の扱い方を教えるとき、いつもフォローの力を借りていたことを。
Yeah.
お前が本当の命の危機に瀕したとき、お前の命を救ったのが私ではなく、フォローだったということを。
Yeah.
私はお前を死神にさせたくはなかった。だから私は育ちきらぬお前本来の力を抑え込み、お前を危険から戦いから遠ざけたいと願うことの。お前が死神になってしまえば、いやおうなしに戦いに巻き込まれる。お前は傷つくだろう。お前は苦しむだろう。私自身の手でお前を殺さねばならなくなるだろう。お前を死神にしてはならぬ。死神となれば殺さねばならぬ。だがお前は死神への道を歩んでいった。きっかけと出会い、力を鍛え上げ、傷つき苦しみながら自らの意志で歩んでいった。その姿を見るたびに私の心は音を立てて揺らいだのだ。お前の意志を助ける方へと傾いていった。そして私は今こうして身を引けることに喜びさえ感じている。お前の成長を私はずっと傍らで見守ることができた。
You don't need me.
これ以上の幸せがあるものか。満足だ。待ってくれ、残月。
Well, saying goodbye to that's it? And we play number 1 over this sad scene? Well, that's a new sword actually.
お前が今まで使ってきたのは私が抑え込みきれなかったお前の力のかけらに過ぎぬ。お前はもうお前自身の力で戦っていいのだ。それがお前の真の残白と残月だ。
Okay.
嘘はなかった。あいつの言葉にもあんたの言葉にも。残月、俺はあんたが誰だって構わねえ。あんたもあいつもきっとどっちも残月なんだ。
いや、
それでいいだろう。残月。
Is he picking up the sword?
引き抜けよ、チャンジ。
Okay, you know what? All the water just evaporated. The choice of number 1 is perfect, actually. I'm happy. He's dual wielding now. There were 2 of them. Yeah.
もうあんたに力を貸してくれとは言わない。俺の邪魔をするなとも言わない。そして一緒に戦おうとも言わない。俺は俺自身で戦う。ありがとう、残月。あんたは俺だ。
Sure. Oh, there's more.
戻ったか、ハッシュバルト。
Oh, right.
よく来た、石田瓜生。
All right.
共に戦おう、我が息子よ。
All right. That's gonna be our season cliffhanger for everyone. All right. So, first of all, let me just say, I don't know if Uryu is gonna be our antagonist, but he might be. It's just a possibility. I'm gonna have to keep watching. You know what? I actually pulled up the lyrics for Senna Rain's Haarute because I wanted to like maybe sing it. It didn't play because it was the final episode. We played number 1 instead, which is fine, but I would have liked to hear Haarute one more time. Okay, we finished the season. Okay, the blade is me. What does that mean? I was just rewatching that final scene here just now. We see Zangetsu is now a dual sword, but also it just vanishes. They vanish as Ichigo was talking about, I mean, Old Man Sengetsu as well as Hollow Sengetsu. And I guess we have to differentiate between the two now. And as he talks about each of them, they disappear one by one. And then we get to see them like floating over Ichigo. And Ichigo just says like, I'm not gonna ask for your help anymore. And that's when the title card of The Blade is Me comes in, and he's like, you are me. So, okay. I guess what we're gonna try to say now is that, like, we don't really have to think about Zangetsu as, you know, an entity that we fight with, but more about just an extension of Ichigo. And I don't know how that is gonna translate. I mean, the fact that the swords disappear makes it seem that Ichigo is just gonna, like, fist fight people, but I don't think that's the case. I think he's just gonna pull out the swords, and he's gonna fight using the swords. But the sword is no longer gonna be like, you know, like, this is an old man that looks like a sword. No, the sword is actually me. It's me, and it's all of the things that I've learned from these two individuals who are both Zangetsu. Because Zangetsu is not just the old man, is actually the Hollow. Ichigo just comes to terms with the fact that, you know what, Zangetsu is actually the both of you. Because the both of you actually helped me. The both of you actually made me who I am. So the blade is me, is the culmination of all the things that both of you did for me. So, okay, that's kind of cool. And he's dual wielding now. Okay, so Ichigo got new drip, by the way. He's no longer like Guts from Berserk inspired. He's no longer the giant swordsman of like, yeah, like I totally wasn't inspired by Kentaro Miura in 1989. But it's like, no. And given he hasn't been that for a while, because for a while now, like every time a serious fight happens, he just goes into Bankai. And his Bankai is just an install super, which is just like, it just turns into a regular black sword. And it's cool, and he gets like this slick appearance, so it's like, okay, no, that looks different. And now he has like an even slicker appearance with like the X on like the chest as well as like the sleeves, which I didn't like because I liked that he had sleeves before. And Taikuwa said, you know what, fuck you, he's not gonna have any sleeves anymore, because what he did now is that he, what I mean when I say he got new drip is that, so in like episode 2 or 3 or whatever, when I started this season, at the end of the OP, you see someone walking with like 2 swords. And in my head, I was like, that looks like Shuhei. Because Shuhei Shikai, he is dual wielding, and also he doesn't have any sleeves. So when I saw that whoever was that walking, I was like, that looks like Shuhei, but those are not Shuhei swords, so I have no idea what that is. And also, why would they give him that amount of like importance into the OP? So this entire time I'm like, okay, what's that? And in this episode, I was watching the OP and I was like, oh, that's probably gonna be Ichigo's sword. That's probably gonna be Ichigo with his Reforged Zangetsu or whatever. I wonder if he's gonna give the swords a new name, or is it still gonna be Zangetsu? I think it's still just Zangetsu, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So he's a villain now, and he doesn't have any sleeves. And it's cool that the reason why he doesn't have any sleeves is because he pulled out the sword himself in the fire, and the fire like burned the sleeves off his clothing, I guess. Why did it stop there? We're not gonna worry about that because it's a shonen. We just do shit because it's cool. Taikuba was like, you know what? I have a new redesign for Ichigo, and this is the way it's gonna look like. And I'm like, you know what? Valid. Okay, we got confirmation as to Zangetsu and Hollow Ichigo. So, okay, Zangetsu is the representation of Ichigo's Quincy powers within Ichigo. So what this means is that every Quincy has an internal mind palace where Yahabaha is in. Like, Yahabaha is literally inside every Quincy. Oh, this could actually tie into why Uryu maybe goes to their side at the end of this season. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Like, I'm thinking he might be like a double agent. Or maybe what he read in that diary is something that convinced him to go to the Quincy side. Because, like, Uryu might not know what we know because we just watched an entire season of like a bunch of shit happening. And Uryu literally just sat back and he didn't know what any of that was. So maybe Uryu joining the Quincy cause without actually knowing what it was. Or maybe he's a double agent, I don't know. But it would make sense if Yahabaha is inside of every Quincy. Because, like, if he's inside of Ichigo's Mind Palace, then it would make sense for him to be inside of every Quincy's Mind Palace. So maybe Uryu is like, oh, you're the man inside my head. Okay, yeah, I'll follow you, or something like that. I don't know. That sounds stupid, but that I'm just gonna put that on the table. Because every Quincy should have Yahabaha in them as well now, though. Which is interesting because Quincy's are starting to less be about, you know, a race of people and more about just the descendants of one guy. It's not so much Quincy powers as it is Yahabaha powers. Like, Quincy's is just a fancy word for Yahabaha descendants at this point. So if the like literal representation of what Quincy powers look like is just Yahabaha, I'm sitting here thinking like, well, Yahabaha is just the special guy, and everyone else who also has the powers is just the descendants of the special guy. It's like, I don't know, it's like if Jesus Christ had children, and then his children also had like superpowers, like Yahabaha is Jesus Christ, and all the Quincy's are just the children with superpowers. But really, the special guy, the only person you should care about here is Jesus Christ. So this is interesting now, because Quincy stopped being just like a full-on like force group race, and it's just now like this one guy and everyone else in his family who he gave the powers to. But yeah, we got confirmation that Sangetsu is just Yahabaha. Okay, like, if you're new to this channel, because, you know, views from one video to another necessarily don't translate, but if you're new and you thought maybe I didn't react as strongly as I should have to some of these revelations, I pierced all of this together like 5 episodes ago. Like, it's not like I pierced it together, but like I started theorizing, and this was one of the theories that I had. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the opening spoiled a lot of shit. Like, there's like a very clear deliberate transition between Sangetsu to Yahabaha, and that just made me like notice so much harder how similar they look. And more so than them looking similar was the transition. You know, the fact that they deliberately transition from one to the other just made me think like, oh, there's a connection. So then the moment that they just tell you, oh, Ichigo's a Quincy, immediately I start piercing together like, okay, what's the deal with Sangetsu then? And then I just started wondering that for weeks now, for months really. So when recently we started asking questions about like, what is Ichigo's origin, I'm sitting here like, well, okay, how does this play into Sangetsu? What the fuck is Sangetsu? And we got answers as to what the Hollow was. And this episode is just a full confirmation about everything. Sangetsu is Quincy powers. I mean, Old Man Sangetsu is Quincy powers. Hollow Ichigo is the real Sangetsu, actually. And I was thinking like, how does that work? Like, I was like, that, how is... Because the entire time, the Asauchis are given to people and then they turn into Zanpakutos. Where did Ichigo get a Zanpakuto? So in my head, I was thinking what he had, Sangetsu, all along wasn't a Zanpakuto. That was wrong. It was a Zanpakuto. It was a real Zanpakuto. And the reason that works out is because the method that I forgot his name, Nimaya, something like that. I don't want to Google things in fear of spoilers, but the forger of the Zanpakutos, the creator of the Zanpakutos, the dude that looks cool and rad and has the glasses. He said that the way he created Asauchis was pouring souls of Soul Reapers into them. And that is basically what Aizen did in order to create the White, which was the Rancor that attacked Misaki and became the cancer in Misaki and then transferred to Ichigo. So because it was a very similar process, that means that Ichigo literally had an Asauchi inside of him. It's like the Philosopher's Stone from Fullmetal Alchemist. It's something like that, right? Ichigo's kind of like that. Ichigo has an Asauchi inside of him. And if an Asauchi is just like a bunch of melted souls of Soul Reapers, then I guess Ichigo just has a bunch of ghosts inside of him, I guess. I mean, they're not conscious souls, they're not like souls of people that you can discern one from another, but it's just like an amalgamation of them. And that created the Hollow, which was the White, and then the White transferred to Hollow Cancer from Misaki to Ichigo, and then Ichigo has a Hollow who's actually just a conglomeration of souls, and because it's exactly the same as an Asauchi, that is what eventually ended up shaping into the sword Sangetsu. Okay, and also he has an old man inside his brain who is not the sword, but it's the representation of his like lineage. And this old man, I mean, this old man Sangetsu also had a will of his own, and he didn't want Ichigo to be a Soul Reaper. But the explanation he gave was interesting because he was like, the reason why I didn't want that was because it would put you in danger, and I didn't want that. Which is interesting. It's something similar to what he said before when he was in his Bishonen form. We don't talk about that, about like the final Getsui attention shit. Like that was kind of weird. But like he did say like all along, like all he wants is to protect Ichigo. Like that's what it is. So it makes sense for Sangetsu to just be like, I didn't want to like encourage you to do all your Soul Reaper shit because you would keep running into more and more encounters, and honestly, you're gonna die one of these days. But eventually he just started to like believe in Ichigo, and he was like, you know what, sure, I'm gonna let him keep going because you know what, I'm proud of that kid. It is interesting that Sangetsu has its own, like, we say at the end of the episode that Ichigo is the blade, like they are me, but then like we get to see how Sangetsu had like a consciousness of its own. That's interesting for me. I wonder if we're never gonna see him again, because I would like to see him again. I would like for Ichigo to just at one point just fucking pull out a fucking bow and just start shooting people, and it's like, this is Quincy Ichigo, and Sangetsu is gonna show up and be like, oh yeah, what's up, I'm still here, I'm gonna give you my fraction of the power now. But anyway, no fanfiction. What I do like is that now we know about Hollow Ichigo. Okay, Hollow Ichigo, it is the white that was transferred to Masaki, which then transferred to Ichigo, but also that is the Asauchi, which turned into the Sanpakuto, which is Sangetsu. Sangetsu was never the old man, it was always the Hollow. The old man Sangetsu is just like Ichigo's life coach, which is his Quincy side, while the Hollow is the actual sword. Which recontextualizes a couple things, because Hollow Ichigo in the past has kind of always been like Ichigo's dark side, you know, like not his dark side, but it's like something that is inside of him that can come out and cause troubles, and is like evil or whatever. Then during the Visored part of the show, we learn how to like control it. He can pull out the mask and use it. Even then, like there's moments where Ichigo like gets quote unquote killed by Ulquiorra, and then he turns full Hollow. I think he ripped like Uryu's arm off. That's something someone told me in a comment, because I think that in the anime back then he like broke his arm, but I think in the actual manga he just like tore it out, which was kind of fucked. But anyway, now we know that that Hollow side of Ichigo, it wasn't just the Hollow, it was also the sword. So like anytime Ichigo was doing anything with Sangetsu and he thought he was hanging out with old man Sangetsu, he was actually hanging out with the Hollow Sangetsu. So like anytime he's like, let me your strength or whatever, that's the Hollow. That's the Hollow doing all the heavy lifting, because the Hollow is the sword. Or maybe it's not. And this is what I'm thinking now, based on what they're saying at the end of this episode. The Hollow might just have been the conduit that Ichigo used in order to get the sword. But okay, here's the thing. You know why this is confusing to me? And it's stupid because it shouldn't be. It's because of the filler arc, the Rebellion of the Sanpakuto Spirits or whatever. I never watched that filler arc. I've heard that it was actually kind of good, but I never watched it because I watched Bound and then I was like, yeah, I'm never going to watch a filler arc ever again. But there was a filler arc in Bleach 2004 called the Rebellion of the Sanpakutos. And the way it worked is that the Sanpakutos, all of them in Soul Society, they have like a custom spirit and design that just shows up. So like I remember you can go and look out like Soda no Shirayuki, and you can see the spirit for Soda no Shirayuki, and she was beautiful, and I love that spirit because it just looks like a Yuki Onna, which is my favorite yokai or monster in general, which is really just a lady that looks pale as snow. But like Soda no Shirayuki look like that. And then if you go and look up, I don't know, Sabimaru, it looks like a spirit. And like the same goes for every Sanpakuto that has like a name that a character has. So the reason why they did that is because Sangetsu has been, Old Man Sangetsu was established as being a spirit, the living embodiment of what a sword looks like. So because of that, it made us think that every Sanpakuto has like a visual person with a design that represents the sword, and that's who they are, like a JoJo stand. That might just be a wrong assumption, because now that we know that Sangetsu wasn't like that, and now I'm thinking that maybe Hollow Ichigo wasn't even that either. Maybe Hollow Ichigo was just a Hollow. He is just the conduit from which Ichigo pulled the sword. And the sword doesn't necessarily have to look like anyone. It's just a sword. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's no spirit that looks like a person that is the representation of the sword. Maybe the sword is just a sword. And this whole time, for like 15 years, we believed that the sword looked like people, but they actually don't. I could be wrong in this assumption. I mean, it's not an assumption, it's just a guess, right? At this point, I'm just throwing shit at the wall. I don't exactly know the specifics of how this works. But like at this point, we can like start questioning it, because like what I'm thinking is this filler arc where every sword has a person that is the sword. But now I'm like, maybe that's just wrong. Maybe the swords are just swords. Maybe there's no like hidden like special man inside you that is the sword actually. Because now we're learning that the hidden special man inside of Ichigo was just the lineage man, not the sword man. And Holo Ichigo might not even be the sword either. He might just be the Holo. Given he could be the sword, right? He could be both. Sure. And in fact, like I have to like kind of rewatch the episode at this point, because like they just say a lot of shit and I don't know if any answers are given there. I mean, answers are given there, but not about the specifics I'm asking. Anyway, this is all just confusing and I'm not sure what the specifics are, but you know what? The broad strokes are kind of cool. I like this. I like this reveal. Dude, 1,000 Year Blood War should just be called Revelations Arc. That's what it should be called. Like, we just have so much shit being thrown at us in 1,000 Year Blood War, which is just like, hey, you know all about those concepts that we just kind of took for granted? Yeah, how about that? Here's actually what it was. That's all 1,000 Year Blood War has been doing, and it's actually great. I'm very happy with that. Zangetsu is just the both of them now. Like, now we have to refer to Holo Ichigo and Old Man Zangetsu as both Zangetsu. But I'm guessing we're probably going to talk more about them in the future, but we just learn everything now. What I would have liked to see, actually, is Ichigo talk to Holo Ichigo. And I don't know if we're going to talk to them again, because this feels like goodbye. It feels like we're just going to stop talking to them again. But it would be great if we could, like, have interacted with them one more time. I mean, with Holo Ichigo, because we did interact with Old Man Zangetsu. So it would have been great to hang out with Holo Ichigo and like hear his input on this. And what I want to do now actually is kind of just go back and rewatch every scene where Ichigo trained in his mind palace and hear whatever the fuck Zangetsu and Holo Ichigo have to say to make sure that it lines up with what this was revealed just now. Because I don't know if it will, but I'm pretty sure it would. Because Kubo wrote a lot of things very intentionally just vague. So like, if he ever wanted to expand on them in the future, he would. And he did. And it's actually pretty great. Because now, 1,000 Year Blood War has given so many answers to things that first of all, I questioned. But there were a lot of other things that I didn't question and I was just rolling with it. And then Kubo was like, actually, didn't you ever wonder about this thing? And I'm like, I guess I didn't, but I should have. So now here's an answer. And that's great. I'm very happy with this episode. And the past couple episodes, really. This was all just great. Like, the first half of the season was just a bunch of, like, crazy shit happening, like, combat-wise. And then the final couple of episodes of the season has just been like, we're just gonna learn like the past, backstories, revelations, secrets, all this stuff. And it's like, you know what? That's so interesting. I'm so happy with this. This is great. So I'm very happy with this first season of 1,000 Year Blood War. What else do I talk about? So there were a couple other things that happened this episode. Uryu is joining the Quincy's. I have no idea if he has like an understanding of what he's getting himself involved with, or what his reasoning might be, or what he read in the diary, and whether or not what he read in the diary was true or not. So that is something that is up in the air, and I feel like we just kind of have to hear what Uryu has to say on this. He might be a double agent, he might just be convinced, he might just be an antagonist now. But we first of all, we need to learn what is going on and what he read, because we don't know what he read. So yeah, that's something I want to know more than anything right now. Like, I'm not gonna start like questioning Uryu. I feel like I trust Uryu, but also I want to know what his reasoning is. By the way, I'm looking at the OP again, where all the Queenses are. Like, I was just skimming through the OP, And I think Uryu is in the OP in the Quincy side, isn't he? I mean, I don't know if that is Uryu. It looks like Uryu, but it could be someone that just looks similar. This one has a dark cape though, so maybe it's not Uryu, because Uryu has a white cape at the end here. But maybe it is Uryu, I don't know. So another thing that we saw for a good chunk at the beginning of the episode is all of the captains that had their Bankai stolen, they're all just trying to like reshape themselves into fighting form. Like Toshiro is like, okay, I lost my Bankai, so now I'm just gonna start like training on like the basics of just sword fighting, so I can like hold my ground next time I have to fight, because I cannot rely on my Bankai anymore, which is what I trained. So that's cool to see. We get to see how Soifang is, I mean, she's just training. She's doing like one hand, it's not even a push-up, I don't know what to call that, but she's just lifting her entire body with one hand and just sweating in in the middle of nowhere on top of a rock. Soifang is the one that I would be less concerned about when it comes to Bankai. Like, okay, they're saying they stole my Bankai and shit. You can still use your Shikai, right? I mean, I don't know if you could, but then why would they say they stole my Bankai instead of just saying they stole my Sanpakuto or whatever? I would probably say that if I wanted to refer to both Bankai and Shikai. In the case of Soifang, if her Shikai is still in play, then she would be the one that I would be least concerned about. Because Soifang, she only used her Bankai like once, and during the Battle of Karakura Town, and she was like, yeah, I never want to use this because it doesn't fit my fighting style. She's a stealth master, she's an assassin, and her Bankai is just a nuke. Which again, I will question, why did she pull out the nuke while trying to defend Soul Society? But anyway, if her nuke is gone, I'm sitting here like, well, it doesn't really matter to her, because I feel like if she can use her Shikai, she can just still fight the way she always fought, which is just fight like an assassin, and then I'll stab you twice with my finger and you'll die. But what's interesting about that is that like it has literally been established that that technique doesn't work, because she did that to Aizen, and then Aizen was like, it doesn't work on me because I'm too powerful. Like battles between Soul Reapers are like a comparison between Reiatsu, Soul Energy. So whoever has the biggest one should just be able to nullify the other one. So if you have a technique that's just like, I'll kill you in 2 hits, then it's like, okay, cool and all. But like my Reiatsu is so strong that just doesn't do anything on me. And given Aizen might have just been full of shit, because that wasn't even Aizen, that was Hinamori. And Aizen was just using Kyokusugetsu, and they were all just fucking destroying Hinamori. Oh man, that's one of my favorite moments in all of Bleach. It doesn't make fucking, it's great. I love that. Yeah, anyway, Soifang is someone that I feel more comfortable with losing her Bankai. The problem is that the Quinces now have a nuke. That's the problem, actually. And Komamura went to visit a Grand Elder who's just a big dog, and he was like, hey, please, I want to learn the secret techniques of our clan or something. And then the Grand Elder was like, no, because, you know, I think that like you're not fit for it, because you turn your back on your race or whatever. And even beyond that, Komamura is like, no, I think the world has changed. I can show my face, and I think we can all just be free and just roam around and be happy alongside all the humans or whatever. And then the Grand Elders are like, no, the world will never change. We will continue to live here in peace without anyone bothering us, and we won't bother them. And that's just going to be the end of that. We're just going to sit here in our caves and just live our life as cave dwellers who are also furries. And then Komamura is like, no, I can change the world. I can change society. And I need power for that. And the Grand Elder is like, no, we're not going to. And they just start fighting. And we cut away. So we'll see what happens next time. More importantly, Mashido is alive. I didn't know she was alive. Mashido, the visored with the green hair, the orange scarf, and the alien mask, who really just looks, it's a Kamen Rider mask. That's what it is. She's a Kamen Rider reference. I love her. Like during the Battle of Karakura Town, I wasn't sure if she died or not, but like she just shows up and we learn she's in Soul Society. She's the super lieutenant of Squad 9, I think. Awesome. It's like a golden badge and it's a Super 9 on it. Ah, I love her. I love she just goes Henshin, and she pulls out the mask, and then she just starts, And like, she doesn't even use a Zanpakuto, she just punches and kicks. I remember her special move was Mashiro Kick. I love Mashiro. I'm glad she's here. Anyway, they're gonna try to force Shuhei to get a Bankai. Cool. I like that. Shuhei is one of the lieutenants that he looks really cool. He has 69 tattooed on his cheek for some reason. He's cool. He's a cool lieutenant. He's a cool design. He's like a brooding character, and he cared about Tozen, which was awesome. Like, he's one of those characters that he's cool enough to get spotlight, but he hasn't been given much spotlight. But he has given enough spotlight in order for you to remember him. So like, I think that if we give him a Bankai, that would do a lot. We can use him. He can be cool and hang out and help out in one of those cool fights that we might get at near the end of the show. I mean, this is the final arc, so just in the arc. But more importantly, Mashira's here. And I love her. Oh yeah, fucking Kuratsuchi is creating a new Bankai or something. Everyone is like, what the hell is the captain creating? Like Akon-san, who's also still alive, he gets to look inside of Kuratsuchi's just captain quarters, just secret, alongside Nemu, and he's just gets to see just something very blurry, and they're just saying it will use its existing tissue as a host to give birth to a new Oshitsugi Jizo. And everyone's like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is it creating? And like, I can't tell what they're looking at, but based on what they said, it seems like Kuratsuchi is just creating a new Ashitsugi Jizo, which is his sword. I don't remember if that was his Shikai or his Bankai. It doesn't matter. He's creating a new Zanpakuto for himself. Sure, whatever. He can do whatever he wants. So he's also powering up. All of these characters, all the captains are doing their own stuff. They're getting ready for next time we're going to have a giant battle against the Quincy's. And then the rest of the episode was spent on Ichigo learning about Sangetsu. So that's cool. Yeah, revelations. This was a satisfactory finale. Because like, I was thinking that we're probably not going to get like a hype finale, because all the hype happened in the first half of the season. So I was thinking like, I don't know how this is going to end. It ended pretty well because it ended in just revelations, right? It was just 3 episodes in a row of like, we're going to finally give you answers and revelations to a lot of shit. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm very thankful. So yeah, that was very good. I love that. And I think that's going to be it for this video. Yeah. New season of 1000 Year Blood War is going to come out tomorrow, I think. I don't know if I will be recording it tomorrow. Definitely not releasing it after this, because I don't know what my speed editing this videos is gonna be, but like, I'm really far behind. I haven't edited the previous episode yet. I need to edit this one and then the next one, and by the time I finish with that, I'm probably gonna be like 2 episodes behind. So I have no fucking clue what I'm gonna do. All right, I'm gonna try my best though. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode reaction to Bleach 1000 Year Blood War. See you guys next time. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching this reaction episode to Bleach 1000 Year Blood War. If you'd like to watch the next episode reaction, the next 2 actually, season 2 is starting, you can do so over at the Patreon. Check out the link in the description below, social media, all sorts of cool stuff that I do, support the channel. I would really appreciate it because I'm rushing through this Bleach episode as fast as I can. Alright, thank you so much, see you guys next time. Take care everybody, bye bye.